Hey, welcome back everyone to Manny School of Art. This video is for those of you that are following the charcoal drawing series. I promised you that I was going to show you a DIY method of sealing your work, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. A little backstory. So about 10 years ago, roughly, I did a unit with my students on how to work with charcoal and chalk pastels. And everything was going great. They were doing a great job. And then I realized I have to seal all of these things. And of course, the common way of sealing it, the one that they recommend, is this workable fixative, okay? Which is fine, and it works for small stuff, but when you have to do, say, I don't know, 65 of these, this stuff is kind of expensive, okay? Plus, it has the worst smell in the world, and it's very toxic, so I would never ever use this stuff indoors, okay? So I went online to look for some different ideas to try to find a DIY version of fixing these things, right? That was less expensive and safer. And I saw a lot of the typical, you can use hairspray, you can do this, you can do that. But I found an article on how Vincent van Gogh would pour milk over his charcoal drawings to seal them. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I read the article. It talked about how he did it, why it worked, and then it also gave some recipes that you can use. And that's a recipe that I've been using ever since. And I'm going to share that with you guys. It is very safe. It takes very little effort to do. And in my opinion, it works every bit as good as these expensive fixatives. And you can do it indoors, okay? The only two ingredients that you're going to need is some either rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol and some whole milk, and then some method of applying it. As you saw at the beginning of the video, when I'm doing 30 or 40 or 50 of these things, I'll set up in my garage and I'll use my compressor with my air gun and make short work of it. But what if you don't have that equipment, or if you're only doing one or two? Well, this video is going to show you an alternative way, and you can do it indoors. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And if this is helpful, please leave a comment below. Think about subscribing and sharing the video to help the channel out. All right, let's get to it. Anytime that you're doing something like this, make sure that you test it on your own work because the chemicals may react differently depending on the materials you're working with, the type of paper you're using, etc. So what I've done, you can see here on this side, you have charcoal and it's not sealed. And then over here, you have pastels that are also not sealed. And what we're going to do is we're going to spray it with 50% milk, 50% alcohol mixture, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is tape your paper down securely onto a backing board, because as you get this wet, it's going to warp on you. As it dries, if it's nicely held together, taped down, then it will the wrinkles will come out. It'll kind of re-stretch itself. Now, for the purpose of this demo, I'm only going to do half. So I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to protect half of the sheet. Okay. Step 2, mix up your milk and your alcohol 50-50. Okay, you don't need a lot for a little section like this. So I use roughly about a ½ ounce of each. Give it a really good shake, right? Make sure that the stuff mixes really, really well. And then step 3, you want to go ahead and mist the area. Make sure it's covered thoroughly. And then let it dry. Now, you can use a hair dryer to speed up the process, which I will do. But before I use the hair dryer, I'm going to let it soak in for about a minute. Okay? And we'll be back to see the results. All right, so before I hit it with the hair dryer, I know it's hard to see on camera, but you can see that there's a lot of like little wrinkles and stuff. That's because the paper is wet. So I'm going to dry this, and most of those wrinkles should go away, and it'll leave a relatively flat surface. All right, so we have the area all dried up. As you can see, just about all the wrinkles have gone. It's only got one coat, so you may have to do it again. But let's see how we did. So if we take Q-tips, you can see right here, very, very little comes off at all. Okay. And you can see that the colors, for the most part, have stayed the same. A little bit here. So this area here probably needs a second coat. Okay. But let's compare that to the side that wasn't treated. Let's see how it works. So let's use the new Q-tips. Here we go. You can see here. Wow, big difference, right? Let's go to the pastels. You can see it comes right off, okay? So this is only with one coat. So if you were to do a second coat on this, it would actually work even better. The other nice thing about this is that you can work on top of it. Once this is dry, then you can actually go back and rework it. So let's say that I wanted to add a little bit of highlights on my tree. And you can see how it's not activating the black underneath. So the highlights are actually brighter. Or you can use colors. So I'm scrubbing pretty good right here. And you can see that it's not coming off, okay? So you can rework this, and then, well, obviously, once you rework it, you have to respray it again, okay? So this method, if you're looking for a DIY alternative to these expensive spray stuff, that's safer and you can use it indoors, this is probably the best way to go. All right, let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching.